Okay, I have been wanting to get to this video for a while. I've got a lot that I'm trying to catch up on. A lot of videos. So there are several that I've wanted to get to for a while. I'm trying to document this process as it happens, as close to real time as possible. And it's difficult to do because so many things are unfolding so quickly. You don't always have time to film it. But I've been meaning to get around to this video. This is my first impressions of Jackknife, GL Pease's Jackknife Ready Rubbed. I don't have the label with me here, so it's just, I've got it in this jar here. This one has an especially good, this is a really nice smell. A lot of these tobaccos smell similar, or you smell similar things in there. It's so tasty. It's got like a, it's got kind of a, well, it smells like wood, like a campfire, like a wood smoke, like a bonfire. And there's some burning meat in there, which is what, it's also what I get from Balkan 2 and what I've gotten from Peterson's Nightcap. I smell a little bit of like a charbroiled meat in there. But this one also has a slight barbecue smell to it. Now, I've talked about the blends, the first blends that I've bought. Which were purchased from the local tobacco shop. It was 3 of them. And then I wanted to pick up some new blends that I read about online that were supposed to be really popular, really good. One was Peterson's Nightcap, the other was GL Pease's Jackknife Ready Rubbed. And long time waiting for this, although there's not much to say. This is the Jackknife review, if you want to call it that. I bought this tobacco for 2 basic reasons. One, because it's a Kentucky Dark Fire Cured, which is the process for curing it, and I read that they do that in the region where I live, in Kentucky, is where they do dark fire cured. That's how they cure their tobacco with dark fire cured process. Now, that seems strange because I can't say that I've ever seen my whole life that I've ever seen a smoking barn, that I've ever actually seen someone doing this. And I literally grew up surrounded by tobacco. We grew up in the middle of tobacco fields next to a tobacco barn. But I've never seen that process done. So it's a Kentucky tobacco. It's a process done right here where I live, where I've grown up. For that reason, I wanted to try this, right? I wanted to try something close to my roots. Kentucky's known for tobacco. Our biggest cash crop for years and years and years was tobacco. The other reason that I got it is because the description of it on the website that I bought said that it was a Burley and Virginia mix. And I thought it might help me figure out how to identify, it might help me learn to identify certain tobaccos based off their tastes. Give me an idea of Just give me something really simple that doesn't have a lot of tobaccos. I'm having a really hard time nailing down what's in a tobacco. I've got 5 blends that I've tried now. And I can't tell what's what out of them. They have different tastes. They're all different. But I don't know what I'm tasting. And I thought that if I get something that is marked as just Burley and Virginia, should help me figure out what those are. Plus, I've read that Burleys and Virginias are some of the most popular tobaccos. Not popular, but base ingredients used in most blends tend to be Burley and Virginia. Now, that gets confusing. Let me light this up. This one has in common with Navy Flake a harshness that is very unpleasant to smoke. Stirs anger. It's so harsh. The slightest bit, and it's offensive to the lungs and the nose. I don't know what's going on. I'll get to that in a second. I'm having a hard time finding, and it's my own fault because I'm trying to do this without, I'm trying to minimize the amount of things that I learn through a computer. And I'm trying to learn hands-on and by meeting other people. And so the solution is I need to get out and actually meet some other people. I'm allowing myself to do a certain amount of reading or video watching. But I'm really trying to restrict myself. I watched videos earlier today about how to clean pipes, because I'm going to have to do that eventually, and I don't want to screw up my pipe, But I'm really trying to keep that stuff limited, and it's making this very difficult because everything that I have read about tobacco blends it doesn't do much to inform me on what to look for. In other words, someone will describe 3 different blends as each containing the same 4 or 5 tobaccos, right? You read a review somewhere and they're like, this one is Latakia with Burley with some Virginia and a hint of Perique. And then you go to another one and it's the same ingredients, but they are said to taste completely different from each other. It makes no sense. So I thought if I get something that's supposed, just Burley, just 2 main ingredients, apparently, just Burley and Virginia, it'll give me a good idea of what those taste like. I'll be able to kind of zero in on stuff. I'm going to make another video about that because there's a whole other rabbit hole here of trying to figure out what I'm smoking. All that aside, that being said, keep going out. Let's talk about Jackknife Ready Rub specifically. I bought this a couple weeks ago. And what I get from it, it smells amazing. It doesn't taste anything like it smells. It tastes like a very harsh, dark cigar. A raw tobacco, harsh taste. Very similar to the Navy Flake, except on the darker end. When the bowl gets down a little lower, I start getting some sweetness in there. Which is really nice. Well, hard to say it's really nice because it's just a little bit of sweetness stacked on a whole lot of harshness. This stuff has a lot of nicotine to it. It tastes like, or it feels like you've smoked a big dark cigar. By the time you finish a bowl, you get that nicotine kind of creep in your like in your skin. You kind of get that from it. Like smoking unfiltered cigarettes. I don't know what else to say about it. There's not much to say. There's not a lot of flavor going on here. I have watched a couple of videos of reviews of people talking about it before I bought it to see what they said about it. They're describing it like it's very pleasant, straightforward, robust smoke on the medium strength level. Yeah, maybe one day. Right now, frankly, it tastes like, it's really close to tasting like a load of crap. I've let what I'm smoking here has dried in a bowl, in this bowl, for about an hour or so. 45 minutes to an hour. Because I thought maybe I've been lighting it too moist. Let it dry a little bit. Nothing interesting here for me. GL Pease's Jackknife Ready Rubbed. I am going to have to keep messing around with this one. I've got a considerable amount of it left, and nothing impressive. Feels like work. Feels like work with very little reward. And that's depressing. I've got 5 blends now, and out of the 5, 1 is very good, but I'm out of it now. I've smoked it all. Another one is fantastic, but it's kind of losing some of what it originally had, and I think maybe it's drying out too. And the other 2, or I'm sorry, the other 3 are either I'm not getting my full potential out of them, or they're basically it tastes like trash. So I've got 5 blends, and I can really only enjoy 1. Now see, now I'm getting down to the lower part of the bowl, halfway through or so, about halfway or so. And it's starting, that sweetness is starting to come in a little bit. So now instead of just being a dark, heavy, harsh cigar, it's a dark, heavy, harsh cigar plus a little bit of sweetness in there somewhere. But not like the River Bend sweetness, not like it tastes like something's been added to it. It tastes like a natural sweetness. It's got to be one of the tobaccos in there. So if it really has Burley and Virginia, if those are the 2 ingredients, one of those 2 is providing this sweetness. It just... it's frustrating, It breaks my heart in a sense. It's aggravating Um, Not that it's a terrible amount of money, but I mean, I only paid, I think, like $15 for this thing. But like, there's, what? So now all this is just waste? Just throw it away now? Like, really? And it smells so good. Like, it smells fantastic. And then you smoke it, and it's just, I feel like I might as well be eating a shoe. It's giving me the that kind of hungry, almost nauseated, frog in your throat kind of feeling that you get from a heavy cigar, where you kind of feel like you ought to throw up, but you can't quite. I've tried puffing on it lightly. I've tried smoking it quickly, strong draws. I've tried packing it loose. I've tried packing it a little tighter. Nothing's doing the trick. I still believe I must be doing something wrong. Again, like the Navy Flake, I've got to be doing something wrong because it's very popular. Different strokes for different folks. So anyways, that's my take on Jackknife Ready Rubbed by Pease. Don't feel like I'm learning much from it. Certainly don't enjoy smoking it. Yeah, yeah. In fact, I've smoked several bowls of this now, and I have a hard time finishing a bowl. I usually get down to about the last third or quarter of it, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. It makes me want a cigarette really badly. Like if I'm gonna have a nasty taste and a hard nicotine hit, give me the real thing. I don't want this. Keep trying.